What y'all know about Fayetteville arachnids? With 10 trillion ants swarming all over with mandibles latching. Atlantis finest, mantis madness, the artist. Alkaline pilot Osiris, so solid go modest. And to be exact, this there ain't no more playing G.A. Tamaray. Open all three of your eyelids. The highest title, numero uno, commander-in-chief on this beat. Remember your fleet to Guantanamo. I saw we playing dominoes, man. When you hop in the whip, bumping Celia cruising, I knew they go Calderon. Then hit the liquid eyes, looking like Riddick Chronicles Pominos. It's the Honorable Apache break, Geronimo, woke path on the prodigal, keeping your eye on the Powerball. Now you see we switching lanes. What y'all really know about the Ripper's veins? So many names, shot down in flames. Woe after woe, we see through they games. Password, hood, rave, pound, settle, dose. Shout out to be for highway, folk holding down O's. Oh, midday, took my ex chromosome. Hexadecimal, syllabary, electrical, goon, metal, chrome. Poem, manifesting in song. And took one for my folks that's gone. I'm so good, I'm on. The book is on. Good looking throne. Keep booking down. This here Brooklyn Con. Keep on cooking, y'all. Or make sure to check your phone and update the song. And took one for my folks that's gone. And this goes back to TNC Surf. About the same time Billy Tezak's adventure had crossed my turf. DNA time travel, ley line of earth. Master of rain, kick flip on vert. Triptych televised, picnic reverse. Misfits telling lies, lifted the curse. Hit, hooray, Don Quixote Bay. Trick switch, terrorize, this is the verse.
Antifa.
He's invoking
It's me, Gazi, the commander-in-chief of the Black Hammer organization. Land back. Land back. Land back. Land back. I heard you had some not so nice things to say about me. I heard you had so nice things to say about my hammers. I heard you had not so nice things to do to one of my members.
A young man found dead inside a Fayetteville home after someone calls 911 saying that they were being held hostage and police showed up to investigate.
The question now is who fired the shot that killed the man. 11 Alive's Doug Richards is live for us this evening in that neighborhood.
Right.
Developing out of Fayette County, shocking allegations tonight against the leader of the Black Hammer Party and one of its members.
This comes after a deadly SWAT standoff in Fayetteville. Fox 5's Doug Evans has more.
That standoff lasted 6 hours Tuesday after a 911 caller claimed to be a captive in the Fayetteville home. Arrest warrants obtained by Fox 5 say 2 men were being held captive in the home at gunpoint by a group called the Black Hammer Party. Those warrants accuse self-proclaimed Black Hammer leader Augustus Romain of kidnapping, aggravated assault, aggravated sodomy, as well as gang activity after the 2 men were allegedly ordered into a padlocked garage at gunpoint. In those warrants, Fayetteville police say Xavier Rushin was one of 2 Black Hammer members who participated in the kidnapping of the men. He's charged with kidnapping, aggravated assault, and gang activity, as well as obstructing police. On Tuesday, a neighbor shot this video of police detaining Rushin outside the home. They claim he was resisting and reaching for a gun in his pocket. The warrants identified Amonte Ammons as the 2nd Black Hammer member who allegedly participated in the kidnapping. After the standoff Tuesday, Fayetteville police say they found Ammons' body in the home with a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. The Black Hammer website says its mission is to, quote, take the land back for all colonized people. In media reports, it has been labeled an extremist group. Former members tell Fox 5 it's a cult.
Boom, we're back. This is another episode of TTM Academy with DJ Radon.
So in this lecture, we're going to be continuing our analysis of cults as they intersect with hip-hop culture, but also cults in the Atlanta area. I'm actually reporting out of Atlanta. And, you know, it's just been crazy this year with cults like, you know, remember, gangs are also cults. You know, they all overlap. And today we're talking about the Gazi Kodzo cult, right? Or Gazi Kodzo, right? He goes by the Gazi cult, right? And he started something called the Black Hammer Party, right? So they're basically communists. They're kind of on the BLM tip, but more radical. They're kind of like basically like a radical, for the algorithms, I'll say Smollett when I'm talking about that community. You know, so they're kind of like a radical Smollett kind of, you know, communist. You know, they're like challenging Antifa, stuff like that. You know, they're very much on the violent tip, and he just got arrested. Him and another one of his members got arrested, and one of his members was just found dead. But he hasn't been charged with the murder of the person, so we're going to go through all the news stories, but, you know, he could be, or another cult member could be charged later, but right now it looks like it's a suicide. So this is the guy right here. I believe his name is Augustus Romain. Augustus Romain. And, you know, so he goes by Gazi Kodzo. And I had seen him a couple years ago on YouTube. He's got a very, very popular YouTube page. Let me see. It's Commander Gazi, right? He puts on this like Joker thing, and we're gonna go through that. We're gonna go through a lot of different stuff today. Hopefully, this could be under an hour. But you know, you can see like over the years, you know, he started out as a YouTube blogger, and then he kind of you know, similar to the time that they say that, you know, the Russians were interfering with Facebook and all that stuff, he started to go into communist kind of territory. And right here you can see it says Happy Victory Day to Russia, right? And we're also going to go through the news article that a lot of people have been forgetting about when it comes to a lot of communist people in hip-hop, you know, whether it be, you know, Dead Prez. Back in the day, they were kind of pushing the communism stuff. You know, just for the record, here at TTM Academy, you know, I'm very proud to be American. You know, this is where my people come from, and you know, I'm not with, you know, communism. And you know, we can see right now that China's economy is totally collapsing. You know, they got like $9 trillion of debt from people refusing to pay their mortgages because, you know, in China they're building like whole gold cities that are fake, you know. So obviously the communist system doesn't work, and it's not working anywhere, right? Whether you want to call it socialist, communist, different realms of it. So, yeah. And I'm not saying, I'm not pushing 100% free market. I'm just saying that, you know, communism was clearly, you know, taking a lot of rights away from people. People live in a police state in China. It's a pretty crazy place, and we see what's happening with Russia. You know, both China and Russia are doing pretty bad right now. So yeah, so we're gonna go back to the story. So, you know, we'll get to that in a second. But let's get back to this Gazi story. So this guy started as a blogger. So I'm going to read this first. Infamous cult leader arrested after dead body found in home. So yeah, infamous cult leader arrested. Because, you know, at first he was just a blogger. Then he became a so-called black revolutionary. And then he became, you know, an actual church. He called it the Revolutionary Church. Became a cult leader. So let's see, Gazi, and also it's also important to note he's part of the LGBT community as well, you know, and many of his members were as well. And, you know, he was bringing in young homeless kids off the street and stuff like that. So we're going to go into the news stories on multiple networks. I'm just going to read a little bit of this. All right, so yeah, Gazi Kodzo, or Kodzo, Gazi Kodzo loves dressing as the Joker, and one said Anne Frank was a Karen. On Tuesday, cops found a dead man in his house. This was actually one of his members. Far-left activist Gazi Kodzo rose to internet notoriety last year with a series of bizarre online pronouncements he made as the leader of a fringe communist group called the Black Hammer Organization. Kodzo's online declarations, including the claim that Holocaust victims Anne Frank was a whiny Karen, seemed designed to go viral as proof of left-wing activists out of control, and earned mentions from Fox News and other conservative outlets. But on Tuesday, Black Hammer, dubbed a cult by some former members, culminated in tragedy. That morning, an anonymous caller in a suburban Atlanta home rented by Black Hammer contacted police to report that they were being held against their will. When police searched the home, they ordered Kodzo and 9 other people outside. In the house, they found an 18-year-old man named Amante T. Amons dead of what police called an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. So obviously, you know, that could be real, or, you know, they might find later that they just set it up to look like that. You know, they might do, you know, gun tests as far as testing the patterns of the everything that comes out of the gun. You know, as the gunpowder and all the different angles, kind of like with the YNW Melly case, they were able to figure all that stuff out because of the residue, you know, after the shot rings off. But yeah, so now Kodzo, a 36-year-old who's, let's see, just skipped ahead. Oh, they're not letting me read the rest of it. Unlock article. I was just reading it. But yeah, so let's just flip to the news thing. I'll close this one. Let's go to the news. Let the news explain it. But yeah, this is crazy. You know, we got the Young Thug cult, this cult, Nature Boy cult, Rashad Jamal cult. All right. So yeah, this is 11 Alive News. So I'm going to read this. Let's see. I have it on another part. Let me just go to here. But yeah, it's really crazy, you know. So we're going to be doing Planet Nern soon as another lecture coming up this week with all the kind of craziness with Rashad Jamal, Isis Wisdom, and Rod Hayes, all speaking of this, you know, fictitious planet called Planet Nern that came out in a video game. So we're going to be covering that in the next couple days after this lecture. But yeah, so here we go. So let's play this story.
Montgomery just got to the scene. What's happening out? Breaking right now, police swarm a Fayetteville neighborhood off of White Road. CBS 46's Madeline Montgomery just got to the scene. What's happening out there right now, Madeline?
Rob, it's a really wild situation out here in Fayetteville. We're over by the Woodbine neighborhood, and you can see there are plenty of police. There are fire engines. And they've been here since this morning after they got a really strange call, they say. They said someone called 911 and the person was whispering, saying they'd been kidnapped by an organization. They were being held in this neighborhood in a garage residence. So police came out here. They saw a person walking a dog right by the residence in question. And when they started approaching that person, they started to run. Police say right now they have a suspect in custody. They also have about 10 people that they're talking to that they believe may be connected to this potential.
So people say they shut down the whole neighborhood, you know, they didn't just lock the block down, like they locked this whole area down. you know, because there's a lot of members, and then a lot of members have their friends too.
Potential crime, and right now there's a sort of standoff as there is one person still inside of this home in question, but police have not been able to make contact with that person, and they're not sure if the person inside is a suspect or a victim in this situation. And again, they're not sure if it's a crime at all. It's just a lot of things up in the air right now as they investigate the situation, but they are...
So this is just the first news story. I'm doing them in chronological order. Because, you know, this is before they arrested the guy, Augustus, Gazi.
We're asking anyone who lives in the area to stay inside of their homes, to call if they see anything suspicious going on, or call if they have information about the situation in this Woodbine neighborhood, again, off of White Road here in Fayetteville. And also just avoiding the area in general may be the best, since there are so many emergency vehicles out here right now. So again, we know right now that there's one suspect in custody. We know that there's another person inside of the home still that they are trying to get into contact with. And so far right now, there have been no shots fired and there are no injuries reported at this time. And we're going to stay out here and we're going to keep working on getting more information as it becomes available from police. But for right now, live in Fayetteville, I'm Madeline Montgomery, CBS 46 News.
All right, so we went from that one, and so they're talking about two people when they actually got the second guy. He was another one of their members. So let's go to this right here.
We have now confirmed that 2 men arrested in a Fayetteville SWAT standoff have ties to a group some are calling extremists.
Kind of a twist to this story. Yeah. Black Hammer members openly say they have an alliance with the Proud Boys, which the SPLC, the Southern Poverty Law Center, has classified as a hate group.
And remember, the Proud Boys are, you know, part of the people that you know, ran up on the Capitol building. And also, you know, the Proud Boys, Vice Magazine's creator, Gavin McInnes, the guy that actually created Vice Magazine, which is part of Vice Media now. And, you know, Disney owns a share in that. You know, Viacom bought a big share in that, right? Viacom bought them, right? And, yeah, so it's like, it's very, very deep that he started this, you know, white power group. And, you know, so this, I don't know if this guy Gazi is like Gazi is like trolling people or whatever, but, you know, he's really kidnapping people. And I'm gonna, before we even play this news story, just to show you all the seriousness of this, I'm gonna actually flip to this right here, his actual the inmate thing right here. So you can see right here, this is what he was charged for. So this is Augustus Romain, aka Gazi. The SODOMY word, I'm not gonna even say it. Participated in street gang activity. This is why I was connecting it with Young Thug and the Smollett community rappers. You know what I'm saying? People that are doing gangs, you know, even Nature Boy is of that particular community as well, right? So yeah, aggravated assault, kidnapping, false imprisonment, conspiracy to commit a crime, so, you know, he was doing all types of stuff, and, you know, collecting donation money, misappropriating funds. You know, a lot of his members were leaving because of that. And I'll show you all a video of some of his members. I'm not gonna actually like really play it, but you guys can click on this if you want. This is why we left the Black Hammer organization. So these are just two brothers that were part of his organization that had lofty ideals, but, you know, they and they said they believe it's a cult, right? They said it right there. We believe it's actually a cult. But yeah, you can go to that and see their, you know, account of why they left this a year ago. And what's interesting is in this video, they're like, yeah, we don't want to blow them up to like the feds and stuff like that. And it's deep because, you know, when the police raided, I think they raided with the FBI as well. You know, this group is, you know, kind of like a agitator kind of group where they're, you know, saying really extreme things. He was speaking about creating a city without Europeans within America, you know, and he raised $100,000 for it. And then he's like wearing this Joker face, and then he's also using the voodoo stuff too, you know. He's like trying to invoke Eshu, you know, on some trickster Joker kind of thing. We're gonna look at that video as well today. I believe it's this one right here. Yeah, it's this right here. We're gonna look at this video today. But you know, he's just doing all this really out there stuff. Like, I'll just play a little bit before we start. It's almost like some, you know, weird performance art stuff, but you know, you can see that, you know, Nature Boy was doing the similar types of things where it's like having his people standing in the back, and you know, that's like this new YouTube type of cult thing, you know. So it's just, you know, it's very, very strange, and you know, it's very, very sad, you know, when you see what these people are doing, right? And I showed you his charges, but the other guy's charges, this guy Xavier Rushin, or I guess maybe yeah, Xavier Rushin. He has similar charges: obstruction of an officer, conspiracy to commit a crime, false imprisonment twice, kidnapping twice, aggravated assault twice, participating in street gang activity twice. So we're gonna press play on this. Whoops, let me skip ahead where we just were. All right, so let's press play.
John White's been digging deeper into the Fayetteville connection.
A captain here at the Fayetteville Police Department confirmed both suspects are part of the Black Hammer Party. That's a controversial group formed in Atlanta in 2019. The normally quiet Woodbine subdivision, lined with yellow crime scene tape and police cars on.
That was a weird sound.
We've had our commander-in-chief, Commander Gazi Kodzo, arrested, as well as our chief of agitation and propaganda, Colonel Kino.
Today we confirm one of the people arrested and charged in that standoff is the leader of the Black Hammer Party. He goes by Gazi Kodzo.
A man who runs a shelter in Fayetteville is demanding to see police body camera video from a deadly standoff at his home. He says he doesn't...
Close that window. Had something else open.
Let's get to the next story developing right now. A young man found dead inside a Fayetteville home after someone calls 911 saying that they were being held hostage, and police showed up to investigate.
The question now is who fired the shot that killed the man. 11 Alive's Doug Richards has live arrest this evening in that neighborhood tonight and just learned that this house doubled as a homeless shelter, Doug?
True, J. Bill, and there is some disagreement now, or at least some dispute, as to how culpable the police might have been in the shooting of the 19-year-old man who was actually in the house. Police say emphatically that they did not shoot and kill him. The homeowner tells me that he's not convinced. Did he take his own life?
No, he would never. He would never do that. He would never. They came in.
So this is the guy that got arrested. This is the guy with the first set of charges that I read out. This is Gazi.
Their guns blazing.
Gazi Kodzo says he ministers and shelters homeless youth at his Fayetteville home.
And then now if you look over here, he's got a whole, let's see. He's got a whole Gazi cult. Well, oh no, but it's on Twitter. I'm gonna go to this Twitter. He's got a whole Gazi cult on Twitter. Yeah, so this is the Gazi cult, right? He's got this, look, it says Gazi cult. It just means an organization. A cult is just basically anything that is organized that is not agreed upon by da-da-da. They call Black Hammer a cult because Black Hammer believes it's in the necessity of leadership. But you see they're almost on some insane clown posse type of thing, but you know, he was really doing gang activity, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, he was really, and if you look at, you know, his face throughout his videos over the years, you see he had a much, you know, fuller face, kind of more like on the, let me close this window with these two guys. But let's see. So this is the other guy that got arrested. So this was his, like, one of his right-hand men, but you can see his face is really thin now, Gazi's face. He he almost looked like kind of like Chris Tucker years ago. His face was a lot fuller. But, you know, as people age, people's faces get skinnier. But, you know, he's obviously gone off his rocker. And we'll continue the story.
Where police say they got an early morning call from a person alleging he had been kidnapped.
Whispering into the phone call, advising that he had been kidnapped by an organization and couldn't talk, and was whispering into the phone.
When police arrived, they arrested one man, took into custody several others. Kodzo says he told police a 19-year-old who'd lived with him for a year was still inside.
I came outside. I talked to one of the officers. He was like, just get everyone to come outside. I told him, we have someone in there that is, you know, mentally different.
Yeah, we did. We had indication from one of the individuals that came out that there was still one person left inside the house when he came out.
Police sent in a robot which indicated a sound of a gunshot. Police say they didn't fire the shot. Kodzo says he's not convinced.
So from that, spiraled this.
And again, police say it is unclear who fired the shot, but they say that their officers did not fire it. Kodzo says that the young man did not have a weapon of his own in the house, and that the 19-year-old didn't take his own life, and that he was alone in the house at the time. So this is an investigation that is obviously still ongoing.
Tonight, Fayetteville police arrested 2 people following an hours-long standoff. Augustus Romain and Xavier Rushin face several charges, including kidnapping, criminal street gang activity, and aggravated assault. Police surrounded a home on Silwyn Court yesterday after a man called 911 saying he was being held against his will. 10 people came out. A SWAT robot found 18-year-old Amonte Ammons dead inside. Police say he shot himself. Fayetteville PD said that the case is still under investigation.
And y'all see the parallels with Nature Boy's cult with Carbonation. You see they got everybody's, you know, wearing all black, lined up like soldiers and whatnot. So that's what, you know, for the youth out there, you got to really be careful of people trying to groom you into, you know, some type of, you know, cult and a gang. You know, it's all the same. Cults, gangs, even, you know, small churches, even could be big churches, you know. Can be all different types of organizations, you know, because at one point he was calling himself a party, then he moved on to call himself a church. So let's see. So Fayetteville, Georgia, the mugshots and charges of the 2 people arrested in Fayetteville after an hours-long standoff on Tuesday have been released. Augustus Romain and Xavier Rushin face several charges, including kidnapping and aggravated assault that we read before. It started around 7:48 a.m. Tuesday when a 911 caller claimed he was kidnapped and was being held in a home by Woodbine in the Woodbine subdivision off White Road. Fayetteville police say the caller whispered to the dispatcher that an organization had kidnapped him and was holding him against his will in a home's garage. While the person was not able to give his location, police were able to trace him to the subdivision. There they saw a person wave their hand out the garage's window. Near the location, officers say they noticed a person walking their dog who tried to escape when approached. That individual, who has not been identified, is in custody. So you see that. So it might have been him, either, you know, the main guy, Gazi, or Javier, you know, Xavier. Police say after they surrounded the house, officers using a loudspeaker asked the people inside to come out. 9 people obeyed and came out. Officials say they had not been cooperative in the investigation. So this is just crazy for all this to be happening in Atlanta. But once again, ain't no more playing, GA. And you know, shout out to the law enforcement for making Atlanta a safer place and getting all these crazy weirdos out of here. You know, the 2 are booked into Fayette County Jail. The case remains under investigation. All right, so we can close that window out. So let's go to this next one. All right, so now, you know, we've just been showing what the news has been saying. Let's see what they're saying on their own site, actually. So let me see. I'm going to click on this. Oh, let me click. This is like a little bit of background first. So a black separatist group's utopian dream for land near Telluride withered after an armed standoff. The Black Hammer Group. So this was February 8th, 2022, earlier this year, this article. The Black Hammer Group had $100,000 and a real estate contract for 40 acres where they planned a settlement free of cops, COVID, and the European diaspora. When the Black Hammer came to Beaver Pines, a sparsely populated neighborhood in the high desert about 25 miles west of Telluride, they came for the soil. There were about 24 leftist revolutionaries, all of them of color, in Denver and other U.S. cities. The group's chapters had spent the pandemic handing out food and personal protective equipment while planning their signature project, Hammer City, a utopian settlement high in the Rocky Mountains, free of coronavirus, cops, money, and the Euro diaspora, like I said before. Together, they would renounce private property, work, the land, and build power. So, commenters on Facebook and Twitter widely ridiculed the concept as a cult doomed for failure, but the activists raised more than $60,000. On May 3rd, 2021, Augustus Romain Jr., the group's commander-in-chief, posted a photo of 10 people standing among sagebrush with raised fists and a declaration on Facebook. Black Hammer had liberated 200 acres of land somewhere in Colorado. The soil, they wrote, was rich. Black Hammer never said where their new community was. Within weeks, the group suddenly stopped its dispatches from the desert, but donations continued pouring in, eventually cresting to the 100,000 mark, according to the organization's fundraising webpage. Critics online wonder where the money went when the Hammers left Colorado. Turiel Kwan, the Black Hammer organization chief of staff, declined an interview for this article, citing bias in media coverage of COVID-19 vaccines within the group that the group opposes. After Black Hammer narrowly failed to purchase its land, Hammer City joined the rich history of failed utopian projects in Colorado. In the Beaver Pines subdivision, the community around nearby, Norwood, population 600, the Black Hammer organization left an impression, blah, 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 let's skip ahead, undeveloped parcels. So they just left the land, right, and they didn't buy it. All right, so let's see. So undeveloped parcels. So wildlife photographer Randy Steffens lives in a solar-powered cabin in Beaver Pines. When he's not tracking cinnamon bears and full moons to photograph, he's taking care of his horses. There's not a lot going on in that small town. So let's get to the meat. So it was on May 9th. Near the cars, he saw a few people he didn't know in Beaver Pines Lot 11, vacant land listed for sale. According to Steffens, he pulled over twice in the next few days and asked the newcomers to move their vehicles. They refused, saying that they had bought the land and could do as they pleased. A week passed. On May 16th, Stevens was frustrated when he found cars still in the road. By then, about 24 people had congregated on the 40-acre lot, a plain of sagebrush that slopes into a sparsely wooded valley. They were of many races and ethnicities, Stevens recalls, and they range in age from children to adults in their 30s. Stevens pulled over and began yelling at them, as he later told sheriff's deputies that when 3 armed men fanned out across the pasture and approached him, one of the men drew a handgun. Alarmed, Steffens said he pulled a shotgun from behind his seat and pointed at the man's head. Behind the armed trio, the group chanted, "Go!" as Steffens. He told police. The standoff was short-lived. Stevens is adamant. He told the men he didn't want to shoot out, and they all lowered their weapons. Stevens, shaken, drove away and called the San Miguel County Sheriff's Office. His report kicked off law enforcement's investigation to identify the armed people. That night, Stevens placed another call to Deputy Paula Martinez. He'd seen the group again as the day waned. This time, 2 women sat atop of a car at a different point in the community road, where 3 men wore bulletproof vests and camouflage and told it what looks like AR-15s. They look like a militia, he told Martinez. So that's when we're going to chime in this thing. We're going to play this. I'm going to read this first. Deputies recognized the group from Twitter. Earlier that day, at the department office in Telluride, Martinez ended her call with Stevens and briefed 2 of her colleagues. One deputy, Grant Marco, had seen a post on Twitter that a militant group named Black Hammer planned to build a city somewhere in Colorado. Martinez's group found the group's Facebook page. We'll go to that. In a conference call with the FBI and the Colorado Bureau of Investigation, the sheriff's deputies were told Black Hammer was a radical paramilitary organization that wants to take back the land from the European diaspora. Black Hammer also describes itself as militant, but a symbol of hope for the colonized poor and working class. There we go back to the communist kind of propaganda stuff. Their presence in western Colorado was key to their goal of liberating black and brown people by creating a sanctuary, the group says on its blog, the Black Hammer Times. We'll go to that webpage too. Now, let's see. So, let's skip through some of this. We're going to go straight to this. I want to show you all this whole Russian intervention thing. We touched on one of these in one of the Rashad Jamal lectures, but it's very pertinent to this lecture, so I got to play it again.
Tonight, new evidence suggests Russian efforts to meddle in American society stretch beyond elections. Documents seen exclusively by NBC News appear to show another bizarre campaign to sow unrest in the U.S. Russian operatives last year pitched a plot to manipulate African Americans. One especially disturbing proposal suggests recruiting African Americans with criminal records, giving them sabotage training at camps in Africa, and returning them to the U.S. Another proposal, encouraging African Americans to push for independent statehood in the South.
It does not surprise me at all the extent to which Russia would go to undermine our democracy and really target divisions that already exist within our country.
The documents were found in communications between Russians linked to Yevgeny Prigozhin, a catering magnate dubbed Putin's chef, indicted by Robert Mueller for trying to sway the 2016 election. While NBC News cannot independently verify the documents, they were uncovered by an investigative Russian opposition group called the Dossier Center, which, in the past, has revealed authentic material to us.
Our adversary is coming at us. We should expect it to happen now leading up to the 2020 election, and these documents indicate we're going to see it on steroids.
Well, there's no indication the plans were more...
And remember, this group came out 2019, so it's just like, you know, put two and two together. You know, who knows where he's getting funding from, but you can see that he was pushing people to do crazy stuff, and now, you know, now he's in jail, you know, we're going to see what happens with the murder of that person, and we're going to, you know, go into that. But I just wanted to show you all that.
More than aspirational.
Just because when you see all this, you know, communist stuff online, and you see Russia attacking Ukraine, you know, yeah, so
bipartisan members of Congress were so troubled they planned to introduce a bill to guard against these and other potential Russian plots.
Right.
Choosing T-Mobile was like paying for this, but getting that. And with our...
Let's see. Oh, yeah, and then there's this. Look, you see it says Afro Witch. You know, we were just talking about, you know, different realms of witchcraft and different realms of, you know, from European forms of witchcraft to the more ancient forms from, you know, different black civilizations. But yeah, meet Comrade Saint, the trans revolutionary sidelined by Black Lives Matter. So she's part of their organization too, you know, so they were just kind of provocateur, kind of radical seditionists, you know, and I'm against sedition. I'm not for sedition. I'm for, you know, using your brain to make a change and you know, people voting, right? Voting for whatever you want to vote for, whichever side, or, you know, trying to create new parties or things like that, you know, but the Russians were you know, trying to influence Americans to, you know, cause riots and bring down their community so Russia can attack. You know, they want to weaken America. You know, that's part of what makes the U.S. strong is, you know, the organization of all different types of ethnicities moving things forward. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, if you look at what happened with Chernobyl, you know, what's the difference between Chernobyl and the U.S. nuclear power plants is that, you know, you got a lot of more rational people working together. When you have diverse populations, things get a little bit more rational. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're just one-sided, you know, there can be a lot of oversight, you know. But yeah, so this interview is a slight departure from our past interview series of interviews showcasing the chiefs of the Black Hammer organization. So we're actually on blackhammer.org now. I'll pull this down a little bit so you can see we're actually on their website. So it says, as some basics, what nation do you represent and what are your pronouns? I represent the nations of Africa and indigenous nations of Blackfoot and Cherokee. My pronouns are he, him, or they, them. Right? But why is it they, them if it's one person? You know, the whole plural thing. Like some people said they're Legion. They're like, call me Legion. There's these people saying that, you know, call them Legion, that their pronoun is Legion. Which Legion could be, you know, many things that are one, like an entity, you know, people could, there's like the witch pronouns and stuff too. But that's what's interesting. But we'll talk about all, word magic and grimoire stuff, you know, in the future, as we've spoken about in the past, but not in this lecture really. It says, were you always political, or was there a point where you got radicalized? She said, it started when the pigs killed Eric Gardner in 2014. My uncle lived around the corner from him, just like Eric. My uncle used to sell Lucy's individual cigarettes. The more I got to know Eric through my uncle's stories, the more angry and hurt I felt about his death. A couple of years later, my 18th birthday, I got into a bad car accident. While recovering, I was bedridden for an entire year. So you can see how a lot of times people get radicalized, right? Did you have a lot of time for learning while in bed rest? I passed the time on Facebook reading articles and watching videos. You see how people get radicalized just watching these videos. Like we just did the Rashad Jamal fan and the Nature Boy fan who both slayed their mothers, right? And they're just watching videos off of YouTube, watching Rashad Jamal videos saying slay people with low vibrational energy, right? And the guy's mom was telling him to stop blazing, and you know, he slayed her. Just craziness, you know. But it says, I started to get angry because I saw so much harm being done to colonized people, yet I was stuck in bed and couldn't do anything about it. I found the world of online activism, and I started to dive deeper into Black Rev thought. As I started learning and reading more, I eventually started to write on Facebook under a page called Saint J. In a year, I got 2,000 followers. What kinds of activism or organizing work did that lead to you? Right, so you can see she got 2,000 followers. Are those followers real? Are half of them Russian bots? You know, I had a Russian person, somebody from like St. Petersburg, try to hack into my account. I remember years ago during the elections and stuff. Because, you know, Facebook alerted me. It was like, somebody from St. Petersburg just tried to, you know. But yeah, they helped groups too. That, you know, they proved that during the elections, the Russians were helping, you know, radical groups like that. You know, they're just trying to, you know, cause dissension. But yeah, I don't even really want to go into too much, but you could just see where they're coming from. But this is where I really want y'all to see is starting some of this madness right here. So this is what the group's actually about. So he's doing this like clown type of thing, almost like the Warriors too, where they had the different gangs. And there's the one gang with the more clown face, but he's also obviously trying to do a Joker thing, even Itchy the Killer, you know. But this is him like dissing Antifa. But the title of this is Eshu's message to Antifa. So he's like,
hello, Antifa.
He's invoking Eshu.
It's me, Gazi, the commander-in-chief of the Black Hammer organization. Land back. Land back. Land back. Land back. I heard you had some not so nice things to say about me. I heard you had so nice things to say about my hammers. I heard you had not so nice things to do to one of my members, one of my dear, dear members, an African Filipino mother that you doxed and thought you could get away with it, thought we were going to back down, thought we were going to take it. No, that's not going to happen. You messed with the wrong one this time. Yes, oh yes you did.
And also, I think in Rock and Rule, there was a character like this. in Rock and Roll, you know, obviously he has like the Joker look, but I believe, you know, there was a very diva-esque kind of, you know, crime boss.
Oh, yes, you did. Because we don't take it lightly when harm is done to our African and colonized women. And that's why at Black Hammer we say, touch one, touch all. Touch one, touch all. Touch one, touch all. Touch one, touch all. Touch one, touch all.
Right. So, you know, we see that right there. I'm gonna flip forward to some other stuff. But yeah, this is, you know, all you can see the Commander Gazi YouTube page. But this is him saying the feds are surrounding his house. This is his last video before.
These people are special.
I'm trying.
These people are special.
Right? The party's over, right? He thought it was a game. But let me go to the next thing. Let's go to some more videos. Let's see. Did we do this one? Because we did that short Fox one, but I don't know if we did. I think this is a longer Fox clip. Let's see. Yeah, let's see how long this clip is. Let's see what's happening. Seems like it's not playing. I'm gonna just refresh this. I got like 100 windows open, so it's going slow. But yeah, that's the second guy. That's not Gazi. That's Xavier. That's the one we already played, but yeah, this one right here. There we go. This one should be longer. So yeah, it says the men arrested in a bizarre case of kidnapping.
Are you ready to make junk disappear?
I've never been more ready in my life. We make junk disappear. All you have to do is point.
These commercials. 5 seconds, that's too much.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK. We'll be there before you hang up the phone.
But yeah, leader of the Black Hammer Party arrested following a follower arrested in Fayetteville. The men arrested in a bizarre case of kidnapping and assault are said to be the leader of the Black Hammer Party and a follower. One of the suspects arrested after our SWAT standoff and possible kidnapping in Metro Atlanta suburb has been identified as leader of the fringe group some former members describe as a cult. Fayetteville police arrested 36-year-old Augustus Romain and 21-year-old Xavier Rushin Wednesday in connection with the standoff at a home in the Woodbine subdivision of White Road. And we saw what they did. They were, you know, trying to steal some land, right?
Developing out of Fayette County, shocking allegations tonight against the leader of the Black Hammer Party and one of its members.
This comes after a deadly SWAT standoff in Fayetteville. Fox 5's Doug Evans has more.
That standoff lasted 6 hours Tuesday after a 911 caller claimed to be a captive in the Fayetteville home. Arrest warrants obtained by Fox 5 say 2 men were being held captive in the home at gunpoint by a group called the Black Hammer Party. Those warrants accuse self-proclaimed Black Hammer leader Augustus Romain of kidnapping, aggravated assault, aggravated sodomy, as well as gang activity after the 2 men were allegedly ordered into a padlocked garage at gunpoint. In those warrants, Fayetteville police say Xavier Rushin was one of 2 Black Hammer members who participated in the kidnapping of the men. He's charged with kidnapping, aggravated assault, and gang activity, as well as obstructing police. On Tuesday, a neighbor shot this video of police detaining Rushin outside the home. They claim he was resisting and reaching for a gun in his pocket. The warrants identified Amonte Ammons as the 2nd Black Hammer member who allegedly participated in the kidnapping. After the standoff Tuesday, Fayetteville police say they found Ammons' body in the home with a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. The Black Hammer website says its mission is to, quote, take the land back for all colonized people. In media reports, it has been labeled an extremist group. Former members tell Fox 5 it's a cult.
And, you know, just with the whole Joker type of thing, you know, that's the same type of thing that the Joker will kind of do, is like trying to make somebody look like they did a suicide or one of those, you know, he seems like he's trying to be some like wicked, evil mastermind, you know, and he's like literally channeling Eshu or whatever, you know, who just spoke about it in a recent lecture. So let's go back to this, right?
And you touched one of us. So now you touched all of us, and we're gonna have to do something about it. Land back? Land back! Land back? Land back! Land back! Land back! And then you wanted to talk about me. You wanted to call me anti-Semitic. You wanted to call me an anti-vaxxer because we're against vaccines.
So yeah, he if you do a YouTube search on the Black Hammer cult or party or whatever, you'll find a lot of reaction videos of people like, you know, because of they were saying a bunch of anti-Semitic stuff, and you know, just a bunch. I think that was one of the main things people were reacting to, but also they were saying a lot of stuff that was against Euro diaspora, and you know, bloggers were talking about it. So he's commenting this, and I guess he's coming for Antifa in this video. But yeah, this guy turned out to be a psycho, and you know, he's a real YouTuber too, because you see he's been on YouTube since like, I don't know, 2015 or something, and he's just kind of he was radical at the beginning, kind of reminded me of Chris Tucker when he came out, because I definitely saw him years back. And then he just got more and more radical, and then, you know, then he got on the whole communist tip, you know.
You wanted to call me all kinds of horrific things. But I don't really give a damn. And none of us give a damn. But where you went wrong was when you doxed one of my members, an amazing African-Filipino mother.
It's also important to note that Grandmaster Jay, the fake DJ that kind of is doing like this guy, trying to turn into some type of gun-toting seditionist. He actually just got convicted, you know, for he was pointing guns at so I believe some officers on a roof, you know. So, you know, and that was when I first brought up the Russian thing, you know, the Russian involvement in hip-hop, you know, how extensive is that? You know, we haven't really, as a hip-hop community, actually done the mathematics on that, and how much have the Russians affected hip-hop, and how much are they affecting it currently, you know, as far as, you know, even, you know, pushing people like Rod Hayes and Isis Wisdom with all that, you know, alien stuff they're always talking about. You know, when you're trying to disassociate people from reality, it's easier to get them into some really out there concepts to get them to do something crazy in the streets, right?
And you made her so worried about her own safety that she had to pay for a more expensive security system, and she could barely.
So, you know, it's like this guy.
People, we just don't have money.
I'm gonna put the closed captions on so you can see it.
Spend, make it rain. Relations to our comrade. that you doxed. And let me clear up all those nasty things you want to say about me and say about my hammers. Land back! Land back! Land back! Land back! Land back! Land back! See, Antifa, you want to co-opt our movement, but we're not going to let it happen. Not this time.
Right. So, once again, this is what he was charged with right here. Some very, very serious stuff. And this is just, like I was saying again, the parallels to Nature Boy with the false imprisonment, and all that type of stuff. And, you know, so let's go to this next part. We've got some other stuff lined up. So this is him, I guess, right when he was getting nabbed.
So we're back. Sorry for the signal trouble. I think they keep kicking me off of the live. But as you see, laying back naughties out here. We have Yaya and Yabe. We have our comrades out here. We have full-blown SWAT teams out here today. Full-blown. Full-blown. Wow. Anyways, Joker has never been wrong about a human being so far. So anyways, long story short, one of the people that we house, but anyways, y'all, so much is happening. I just woke up and I haven't had my coffee. But yeah, I do not want y'all to worry that I'm going to be all right. We are all going to be all right. No matter what happens. Yeah, I'm just in a bit of a daze right now. So, Kino, who was walking our dog or whatever, has been arrested for, I don't know, they said that he ran away when they saw him, but he probably did. I mean, it was like pigs out of.
And he had a he was strapped. We saw the guy with the short blonde hair. He was strapped when the police were arresting him, and he was trying to reach for his heater.
How did you get Gugu? They brought Gugu to you?
They brought Gugu and they put her in the car with me.
Okay. But yeah, if you notice this, you see he's got the underbite now. Like he looks like, maybe he's hitting the meth or something, because his face was way more. He looked just like Chris Tucker, in 2015. He looks very, very different now.
Why were you handcuffed?
They detained me. They detained me for no. They didn't tell me why.
Yeah. Alrighty.
I think they thought that I was the one who called the police.
Oh, okay.
So this is before he was arrested. At first they were being nice to him and not treating him as a suspect because they were more concerned about the murder. But they got him on the kidnapping charges.
So yeah, this is what's going on. This Tuesday morning, where I should be with Draco right now, this is all occurring. And it's quite horrific that, one call from someone in the house can arrive to something like this. Anyways, someone who we had in the home was acting belligerent, and so we were removing him from the home, and I guess he called the police and made up all these lies about grenades and all kinds of stuff. And about, whatever. So, we are here now. And like the whole police department is out here. Not just the police, the FBI is out here as well. Another person is coming. But yeah. So please share this live. Y'all, get it out. They're waiting for a warrant to search the house, whatever, where they will see.
And remember, his cult was also kind of like a BLM type of thing where, you know, they're always raising money and stuff, and he's keeping all the money. So that video I showed you with those two guys that were members left, they I didn't play the video, but I was just showing y'all, you know, if y'all wanted to look at it, where to find it. They were saying they left because he was just taking all the money.
We have
similar to BLM.
Nothing. Huh? All of this, y'all. I don't know what he's getting.
I think that's like
They're gonna break open the window?
No, they're gonna inch it open, slide them off right in there, pump it open so they can get a little grip so they can open it.
Okay. Alright, at least it seems like they're doing a gentle walk. Opening? I don't know. Anyways, y'all, this is occurring. This is occurring. This is occurring.
You see this guy's literally out of touch with reality. Like, he's literally, the feds and police are raiding his house and there's a dead body in the house. And he's trying to, like, act like something fake is going on. Like somebody just made something up. But there's a dead body in the house.
Right now. So they're also, like, all around, like, the house. So I woke up, and literally, I woke up, I look out the window, and I see somebody.
It's also really interesting that all these cults thought that they could just get away with all this stuff, and now it's like 2022. You know, Atlanta police are cracking down for real.
But they've got an what's an ELD car?
I'm pretty sure one of the big ass trucks.
To do what?
Research, bringing more patrols.
Okay. So, seems like, yeah. It seems like they're going to be getting like an ELD car. What's an ELD truck? Look that up.
Yeah.
So we're looking up what an ELD truck is. And then after that, I mean, I see all of this and I'm not shocked or surprised. We are making a lot of advancements and things like that. So if I really wasn't, we are, helping our people. We are making sure to build community, and they can't stand that. Do you need someone to do a drive? They're not letting anyone drive by. Like, my lawyer can't even come in here. There's like media out there and stuff like that, apparently. So yeah, but I appreciate that. Yes, we're in Atlanta. We're in Fayetteville. And this was just bound to happen one of these days, I think. Watch her. Oh, she's, anyways.
If it's bound to happen, why would he want to do something like that? Which is like, okay, is he admitting right now that he's being a provocateur? Like, what's going on? Why would he want to, to be raided. You know, it's crazy.
So now they're moving.
Plus, they all have guns too. And we're also going to, in a future lecture, we'll be talking about, you know, True packing a gun as a person without a home. You know, or we're going to investigate that law. Are people that are without a home allowed to be rolling around pulling out straps on people? Because True had a confrontation with a woman at Whole Foods who recognized him from seeing him on, you know, different YouTube and Bigo or whatever, and you know, different reports about the carbonation cult, and he allegedly, you know, pulled his heater out on her, and you know, when cults are also strapped, that takes on a whole nother connotation, right? Because we know that guy was strapped, the one that the cops just took down. We saw in that video thumbnail, the guy with the blonde hair, Xavier.
Bring the cars so they can.
So strap cults are a whole nother thing. That's why it's gangs. You know, they charge them with gang stuff. Both of these guys. So let me press play.
Get the ELD here. But I think it's like this big truck or whatever. I don't know what else they're gonna do to the car, but this is ridiculous. This is all quite ridiculous. But they're also back here. Like all of these cars are back here. All of this is here.
Yeah. You want to go grab them? I'll call Patty.
Is there a fire in the home?
No, that's just medic. No, it's just medic.
Oh, okay.
They just here for precautionary reasons. Somebody was hurt or something.
What's strange is he's not acting like there's a dead body there. He's acting like he doesn't know that there's a dead body and he never heard the gunshot. It's like, I don't care who you are, unless you were just knocked out on some sleeping medicine, there's no way you're not going to hear a gunshot in the house. You know, even if the guy locked himself up in the bathroom, you would still hear it.
So yeah.
ELD stands for electronic logging devices.
An ELD vehicle.
Yeah.
Truck. So it's ELD truck.
Yeah, this one is.
Well, yeah, y'all make sure to share this live, y'all. Exactly what happened. Girl, who asked that? C. Darnell, child. I woke up like this. I woke up like this. I woke up to the police surrounding my home. SWATs, FBI, the whole 9 yards. The whole 9 yards. Y'all, listen. We have a legal defense. Listen, everyone. We have a legal defense. The more you say, the worse will be used against you. So please, these are not our friends. Please, Kim. Please. Okay. We got a lawyer that's gonna answer to all of this.
It logs driving time. The number of hours driven.
I don't know what that means. But yeah, so we out here. Okay, yeah, it froze for a bit.
But yeah, it's deep. I mean, he's telling his cult members to, you know, don't snitch, don't say anything, don't incriminate themselves. But like, if they haven't done anything, why would they be incriminating themselves?
There's a lot going on down here. I have not been arrested yet. I'll be very shocked if we aren't like brought in for questioning or something, because this is so much.
Brought in for questioning for what? He's not talking about the dead person in the house.
But anyways.
See, him singing to himself like that's kind of like self-soothing. He's definitely you know, going through some stuff. And that's why I keep going back to this, because then you can see
Mayo boys and girls in your
really
suburban world want to jump on our hashtags just so you can come outside and play a video game and bust some windows, huh? Break down some businesses. Well, you've been messing up because you've been destroying black and brown businesses. Yeah, the hair braiders and the barbers.
See, it's like when you see people like this, it just makes other conscious people that are really trying to help the community, it makes them look like attached to this. You know, it brings down, you know, conscious movements and stuff like that. And that's why, as far as draining the swamp in turntablism, we've shifted to draining the swamp in just hip hop culture in general, in rap culture. You know, Nature Boy's a rapper, Rashad Jamal's a rapper, and even hip hop culture in general. And that's why we're gonna be moving on to Isis Wisdom, who's also, you know, she had a, you know, radio station, hip hop radio, hip hop magazine, stuff like that. We're gonna get into that as well, because here at T-Team Academy we deal with how hip hop culture intersects with different fields of study, and in these past couple months we've been focusing on psychology and criminology. And you know, this guy's psychology is, you know, you see he's on some twisted stuff. You know, like he could say, oh, it's just a joke and it's like insane clown posse, but you know, they're really kidnapping people. And you know, like I was saying before, if you see his older pictures, you know, his face was way more full, and you know, he looks like he's, you know, either a little bit sick or on some type of amphetamine.
The bodegas, you've been messing with our black and brown businesses, small businesses that literally uphold 12 to 20 family members, just so you can play.
Right, so, you know, and then he starts to say some stuff that, you know, that was offensive to a lot of different groups of people. But so yeah, so let's go back to where we were. Finish this up.
But anyways, y'all have questions, comments, concerns, please. Keep my mind sharp. Anyways, make sure to share this live. Click the notifications on, see what's going on. If I do get arrested, do not worry. I have sent comrades who have my information to log in.
Notice all that comrade stuff, right? You see.
So the show must go on. This is because the work that we are doing is working. This is how they treat an organization that feeds and clothes and houses the homeless. We house this brother. And how has your experience been with us?
Pretty good, except
remember, he's also arrested for the SODOMY word, and you know, he's been grooming these underage kids, taking him as being homeless, acting like it's a refuge. You know, it's just we've seen it happen before with cults.
they're smart.
Yeah.
We still fight though.
That's right. You know, I got this space, this house, because I wanted, as you can see, it's a very nice neighborhood, y'all, that I'm sure the HOA is going to be kicking me out of very soon. And so I got this space because I wanted to give our homeless people from the streets in Atlanta.
He's also renting. He's not part of the HOA. He's not a homeowner. They're renting this place.
You know, some peace and quiet out here. To meditate, to think, to pray, to get clean on here. But with work and stuff like that, you know, with this kind of work, they're always going to try to shut it down. And so this is why we're here, because this is all being started because of one psycho crazy person that was in the home. That, you know, was wilding out. But now,
see, he's not saying the psycho crazy person attacked a person and killed somebody. He's just saying there's some psycho crazy person. Like, he's not even talking about the fact that there's a dead person in his house.
now they're like circulating over here. I don't know if they need me to open the door. I don't know what's going on, girl. But yeah, so we got someone here who was being belligerent and also had knives and things. We did not call the police. We were actually removing him from the home, where he called the police and lied and said that we were...
See, obviously he's lying because... allegedly lying because a gunshot rang out, you know. But maybe the guy had been dead for a while, so because they haven't done the, you know, full toxicology report.
But yeah, thank you for sharing the live. Keep sharing the live. This tape may be the tape of my death. Who knows? They may take me out right now. They may take me out. I may go home to see Jesus, my white Jesus now. But yeah, my neighbor's out here acting like he's raking the lawn. Child, you ain't raking the lawn. You're being nosy. And I would be nosy too. This is a lot of activity. This is a lot of activity. I'd be nosy too. But yeah.
But yeah, he's a YouTuber, and that's what's just crazy to see a YouTuber, you know, go from being a radical YouTuber to, you know, actually being a seditionist and scamming hundreds of thousands of dollars or $100,000. But, you know, people say he took more. And, you know, and then literally, you know, kidnapping and R-wording people, you know, R-Kellying people, all types of stuff.
Thank y'all for the heart to love. Look at you. Okay. Well, actually, there's a lot of media out here, girl, so this is just going to build me up at the end of the day.
So then you can see where he gets into the narcissistic stuff.
Thank you for that. So if you think that, you know, I am concerned or anything like that, you're out of your mind. At the end of the day, there's still breath in my body. I still run an amazing revolutionary party. Our community is effing with us. And now all these news channels are going to want to interview us. And we are going to get to communicate about all the great work that we are doing here. So,
see, he thought the news was going to interview him, right? He's still out of his mind, right? Like somebody's literally dead in the house. And he's acting like they're going to interview him. They arrested both of them.
You should be behind the car up there.
This is great.
But let me actually click over to this right here in the meantime while we're... So yeah, I just wanted to click on this their Twitter. So they got the Gazi Cult on Twitter, and you can see this cat is literally on some crazy stuff trying to be a Joker, and he's got the sledgehammer, right? And that's, you know, him preaching. Right. But, yeah, see, this is how he looked before. Remember I was saying he looked more like Chris Tucker before. His face was much fuller years ago. Right. But you know, obviously with age, you know, people's faces change. But his face got way skinnier. Like, you see how his face is much fuller right there, right? But yeah, it's interesting that it's an international cult, but they don't allow people of the European diaspora. But you know, he's just kind of getting all these young kids. You can see how young everybody is. Very, you know, young and impressionable people, right? So let's get out of that. All right, let's flip to this right here. This is a short one. Sounds like an owl or something. It's like 5:22 right now. I don't hear this. Let me turn on the audio.
In the morning, and when we were waiting for the next train to come, it's juicy to the people there. Say hello. You don't finish. Where you from? I'm from Atlanta. I met Draco almost a year ago. Can I tell you how I met? Okay, so we was given resources to people on MARTA early in the morning, and when we were waiting for the next train to come, I looked on this bench and I see this young king, and I woke him up. But I was like, do you want to come home with us, whatever? And he just saw this strange gay man. He was like, no. I just told him that, you know, this is my phone number. If ever you need anything, I'm going to be here for you. Months later, he decided that, you know, he wanted to change his life up. No more of that, you know, bobbing and dodge. He wanted to give that up and do good for his people, right? And so by coming to the Revolutionary Church, listening, and at first, he used to be all the way in the back behind.
And notice he said church, coming to the Revolutionary Church. He's calling it a church.
The trees and shit. This little nigga wouldn't even sit. This little nigga wouldn't even sit in the motherfucking chairs. He wouldn't even sit in the chairs. And I used to have to go all the way back to be like, are you good? And stuff like that. So anyway, we linked up and he's just been doing an amazing.
And notice how, you know, shy the young guy is. Like, you can see his lips twitching and stuff. Like, I don't know how old this cat is. He's very young, but if you go to their Instagram, right here, you'll see like that guy.
Let go, Draco. Let go, Draco. Let go, Draco.
His name's
Let go, Draco. 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 Let's go, Draco. Let 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 Draco. Let Draco go. Let's go, Draco. Let 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 go, Draco.
I'm not even gonna keep playing that, but y'all get the picture. So this is this guy Draco that was got in jail, and you know, they're trying to free him, right? But yeah, you know, it's just very, very interesting that you see this. Like, this is the Black Hammer Times, their magazine. And you can see that he, you know, started out, like with his YouTube thing, he started out as a, you know, just a YouTuber, and he just kind of expanded out into, you know, creating an actual cult and an organization. So, you know, organizations can become cults too, like be it Amway, you know, I know somebody, an artist that like had this kind of Amway type of addiction. Maybe it wasn't, yeah, I think it was Amway, you know, and there's like this Amway cult that was just kind of messing with her head and stuff like that, you know, because sometimes, you know, cults can come in many different forms and fashions. All right, so yeah, I don't want to harbor on these cats for too long, but let me I'm gonna close this Instagram. But one thing I do want to show too is that even a broken clock can be you know, right once, twice, like twice a day, I guess, if you're in the U.S. And this is actually interesting that you know, he found that Masonic symbol in there. But the thing is that you know, a lot of times people that are scammers use real information and mix it with their scams to make their scams seem more real. You know, so they really are, you know, trying to, you know, drop some jewels or whatever, things like that. But, you know, they're mixing it with their scams. And, you know, the jig is basically up for his organization. Hate to even call it a organization, but let's actually go to their page, right? This is what their page looks like, the Black Hammer Party. It says, what happened July 19th, an attack on the Rev Word. On the morning of Tuesday, July 19th, 2022, the Fayetteville Police Department, SWAT, and FBI ambushed the Atlanta headquarters of the Black Hammer Party. By the end of the day, one hammer, I guess they call themselves hammers, was shot and killed by the police. His name is AP, our party's Minister of Defense, and he was 19 years old. So the police are saying it was a suicide. And he never, you notice that when we were just looking at his video, he never mentioned anybody being shot. And he was 19 years old, and this isn't the first time a Rev movement was attacked via mind propaganda body, our soldiers, spirit, the people. And then they just flipped to this Marcus Garvey thing, and it's like, yo, what does that have to do with what just happened? Like, this is supposed to be a story about what happened, and they just go into this whole paragraph about Marcus Garvey, right? Which I'm not even going to read. But, let's see. Hammers will go to hell 1,000,000 times, but we come back to fight for the people another day. And the colony has tried to bring hell down onto the Rev. So yeah, these guys are out of their minds talking about hell and stuff. That morning on July 19th, hammers were descended upon by the Fayetteville Police Department and SWAT, who over loudspeakers told everyone to come outside. One comrade was already walking the dog outside and got tackled down by police. Everyone came outside the house except Minister of Defense AP. Hammers called to him, tried to get him out, but police said that they'd go in and sweep the house. This ambush came from a call from someone from the streets that was being sheltered in the house and was starting the work of housing, feeding, and clothing the homeless. When he realized he wasn't down with the mission of serving our poor black and brown people during a worldwide food shortage, record unemployment, and more, he was asked to leave the house since it is a home for homeless Revs, leaders, and comrades. He became belligerent. It was then he made that call, putting the lives of homeless men and women in danger. Everyone waited out. See, they're not talking about the shooting or anything like that. Everyone waited outside the house, not knowing what the police were doing or whether or not they were in the house yet, and not knowing if AP was safe. Within the hours, several cars of FBI agents arrived at the house. The investigation continued, and hammers waited and waited and waited. Media came, more pigs came, and as this went on, I'm adding ums for the algorithms. Commander Gazi stayed live on Facebook to keep the people informed and to keep the people aware, because we know PIGS lie. Anyone who claims to be against the system of oppression should always know the PIGS lie. Who believes? So, you know, they're getting, you know, they're even being real radical even after their leaders are totally arrested. So this is, you know, this page might be taken down in the future. Who knows? Sometimes they take these pages down. And so the people had to be shown what was happening as comrades waited for answers. Notice how they keep saying comrade, all that, you know, Russian communist stuff. The Facebook Lives had stopped as FBI agents and other investigators started questioning hammers, each separately inside individual cars without any attorneys present. In mid-afternoon, 11 Alive, CBS NBC affiliate, did an interview with Commander Gazi. It was in this interview that reporter Doug Richards informed Commander Gazi for the first time that the Minister of Defense AP was shot and killed. So they're saying that they never heard anybody shot and killed, but the police are saying that the guy was already dead when they got there, which means that one of them could have killed the guy. Right? Did we see this part?
Did he take his own life?
No, he would never.
He would never do that.
He would never. They came in there, guns blazing. They came in there. They had all their guns and everything.
Oh, we saw this part.
They had all their guns and everything. I told them, put it down, put it down. It seemed like, you know, they've never gotten a call like this before, so they just got to, they just wanted to, this whole thing is lined up. The person that called the police that we were moving from the home,
I tried showing them a video of him. We have a video of him with a knife, flaring it around, coming at my assistant.
So why
And I
haven't they
said,
posted that
you know,
video?
we were removing him from the home. We were about to drop
That's
him
the
off
kind of questions you gotta
and
ask
this
if
occurred.
that video exists.
And so from that spiraled this, and then this, and now we were out here. They had arrested the back of the car and stuff like that, you know. And then they had us out, in and out, and I just want to say to the community of Atlanta, Georgia, that the pain that I'm feeling as a father, I'm not alone in this pain. So many of us as Black people have lost our children to police violence. So many of us have witnessed the poverty, the food shortages, everything that's going on, this pain that's going on. This is the shared pain.
Right, so, you know, there's a lot of questions to be answered, so this is still just all unraveling. Everything's still under investigation. It says Commander Gazi pushed through to talk about the work Black Hammer has done for the homeless of Atlanta. Da-da-da-da. Right. Let's scroll down. I believe one of their members got arrested giving food to the homeless earlier this year. So, you know, they were talking about that. They try to change the subject. But as we know with the kind of preacher hustle, or like the nonprofit hustle, there's a lot of people using, using organizations like this to profit off of it, right? And we see that happening right here. So we're going to close off their site. We don't see any more of that. Yeah, we already talked about that. So let's see. We already did this. Yeah. And all right, so let's close that out. So yeah, we're wrapping this up. Now this is the young man that was killed. This guy right here, Amante Amons, right? And you know, people still haven't even said rest in peace yet on his Facebook, or maybe we don't know because we can't see totally into it. But you know, this poor guy right here, gosh, the police say it was a suicide, and the cult says the police killed him. But you know, we don't know. It could be one of those options, or it could even be a whole nother option. It could be the cult killed him and just made it look like a suicide, and through forensics they'd be able to know later, right? So yeah, very, very sad. This guy was 19 years old. So yeah, rest in peace to this cat. But yeah, he was part of the cult though, you know, and they said he was like their Secretary of Defense or something like that. Like if you go to their, I believe on their, maybe it's on their Facebook. Let's see. All right, we were just playing that. Let's see. I think it might be on their Facebook. But let's see. Yeah, on the Black Hammer Times. I'm gonna place the rest of this.
At the end of the day. So my chicken's coming home to roost is more. More media, more followers, more, you know, advancement work, more movement, more.
You see that? More followers, more, you know, he's literally about to get busted and he's talking about more followers.
Greatness. Then so be it, sweetheart. Things like this have not stopped movements or leaders before, so not even overcome. This is a great moment.
And he's also doing the set it off thing right here.
In the streets.
Kind of.
Like the heroes or something. And then when an organization, Black Hammer, that's actually led by colonized people, Black and brown.
He keeps saying all these like keywords like black around, colonized, this, that. You know, he just keeps saying these things over and over again.
Talking to you too, BLM. We know you're paid for by the Democratic Party. We know you'll do anything that the Democrats say. You're not for our people. You're pocketing all that money. Yeah.
Meanwhile, he's been pocketing all the money from his organization. So that's what's, you know, very interesting about cults in general, is that you know, a cult doesn't just have to stay a religious thing. A cult could be a political thing. It could be, even like I was saying, like with Amway, you know, cultish behavior can be applied to anything, you know, pretty much. But yeah, he keeps saying colonize, 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 you know, over and over.
Touch one. Touch all. Touch one. Touch all. Touch one. Touch all. Touch one. Touch all. That's what we believe. Yeah. And you touched one of us, and now you're gonna pay. I'll tell you how you're gonna pay at the end of the video, okay? Because we just want to have a conversation, Antifa. We just want to have a conversation, and then you give us the money that you made on African Filipino women have to pay out taking the vaccine. One of the fact that the Pfizer.
Wait, let me go back.
We don't do that over here. Land back? Land back! Because we really believe. Touch one? Touch all! To give them the Suburb stare with the vaccine. Yeah. Not you. I don't know any of their names or their stories, but I know about white Jewish.
So this is what got people ticked off.
Black Hammer, an anti-colonial organization for the total liberation of African colonizers. No Rona, no Rico.
Just keep saying the same things over and over.
95 K95 and free.
Right, comrade, this is a great moment. A moment where, you know, our voices will be amplified and our mission and cause will be informed. You know, period.
They're just chilling, even though somebody's just been shot before the cops got there. Because if somebody got shot after the cops got there, they would have heard the shot.
So, still sitting pretty. And so, yeah.
But yeah, let me go over to here. Let me see. No, let me go over to the Facebook. But yeah, if you look at Black Hammer Party, right? He's basically doing like Nature Boy and just getting other people to do stuff for him and give him money and work for him and make him food, and you know, that's the whole type of thing. So, you know, just like Nature Boy started out as just like a simple online lecturer, this guy was just dropping like, you know, different videos online, and it just evolved into this whole crazy thing. Let's see, let's go back to this, where it's actually his actual page, Commander Gazi. But you can see, I'm gonna click on like you can, yeah, even see with this, you can see, you know, he looked very, very different before. Like you can see, look at his face when he was younger. He looked, like I was saying, he looked a lot more like Chris Tucker than his, you know, his face has gotten a lot skinnier quite recently. But yeah, like if you look back here, if you just see his, the progression of where he was coming from, he was saying like, don't let your diaspora shame your blackness. You know, he was coming from basically like a radical queer kind of black nationalist perspective, and or Garveyite, I would say, more so perspective, but also you know, he was speaking about indigenous stuff too. So, you know, a lot of these scammers are just taking in all the new rhetoric and stuff, or real information. You know, so you can see he was doing these kind of funny videos, and you know, he was totally underground then. You know, he was getting some views on different things, and you know, you can just see these different topics. You can see how his topics kind of, he started getting into politics, but he wasn't pushing the communist stuff yet. You know, it was only around the time where the Russians actually started intervening in the elections. You can see this is like 6 years ago. He was still, you know, he was getting into politics, but he wasn't talking about some type of party, right? So you can see this whole progression. And notice how here his face still looks the same, but around 4 years ago, that's when it starts to change a bunch. You know what I'm saying? And then quite recently, you know, if you zoom all the way up until now, it's very, very big change, very, very big difference. But, you know, we'll definitely give you updates on his case and his other members' case about what happens, you know. But like I was saying before, look, they're like, why would they be saying Happy Victory Day to Russia? Let's click on that.
Land back! From Atlanta, Georgia, in the center of the Clinton News Network. Yes, or the CIA News Network. Or the colonial.
See, like, why would they have the Russian flag, you know? Like, why would they go that hard? You know, so that's why I'm suggesting we don't know. Russia could be behind some of this.
News Network. We are here in Atlanta, Georgia, celebrating Victory Day and Mother's Day. Mother's Day today, Victory Day tomorrow. In unity with the Russians who are fighting against the United States of America. They are hiding behind.
And Russia's fighting against the Ukraine. You know, it's like all this misinfo is just crazy. All this cap.
Behind Ukraine, a country that.
Just for the record, here at TTM Academy, we're, you know, we don't deal with cap here, and that's why we do a lot of cap busting, right? You know, a lot of debunking.
And tomorrow, Victory Day, is the Victory Day because it represents.
So yeah, he's basically, you know, they're actually waving a Russian flag. I can't believe that they're actually doing this.
Today, that Russia,
I've seen a lot of marches with people like that, but I've never seen somebody actually with a Russian flag. That's just crazy.
USSR.
Because it's like Russia is very, very racist place. You know, like we've already covered at, you know, Red Bull Russia. They had like you know, these racial epitaphs of Obama and stuff, and you know, Russia and China are both very, very hostile places towards black folks.
Defeated over this mass imprisonment of black and brown people, and CNN has a lot to do with that, because it is a propaganda tool, the biggest propaganda tool of the United States of America. Fake news! That spreads lies. Say fake news. Fake news.
But yeah, so you see, like they're literally sitting there with the Russian flag, you know, looking crazy. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so we're about to wrap this up. I want to wrap this up. But you see, they're saying free Gazi, free Kino, right? Those are two of the guys. That's the leader, and you see his face looks totally different than in that picture. But you know, and this is the guy that died. The one I was showing you the picture of, that's the cat that died. But we still don't know exactly how he died, but the police are saying, you know, it was suicide or whatever, right? So yeah, I think we're pretty much done with this. Let's play a little bit more of this.
Lawyer. Next question. They really do. They really do. Ciao, please. La 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 la. So
you see, he's singing. Like maybe he's just trying to act normal and make it as an alibi, but like he's literally singing, and somebody just got snuffed within the past probably a couple of days. Because if it had been a suicide from a week ago, they probably would have known, and it'd be a smell, or you know, the police would have said that they didn't think it just happened. But yeah, let me go back to this over here.
Can't take no money from no Democrat. Black lives unities. Back. Land, food, clothes, and housing to our comrades. No. Touch one. The word. We just want to have a talk. So could you come meet us? Chief Shagun, what is the address?
Martin Luther King Jr. Library.
Martin Luther King Jr. Meet us soon.
4:30 p.m., y'all. Look, y'all.
So this is what this is what we're doing with, and you know, I want to give a shout out to Seer the Duke of Tears for, you know, pointing out in a bunch of recent lectures of his about this hand, the whole Black Power fist was actually, you know, a communist thing. You know what I'm saying? And be it like social studies and the word, you know, socialism and social things, social programs that have seemingly helped the Black community, but a lot of people look at it as a double-edged sword that's actually hurt the Black community in a lot of ways. And we see that, you know, through the Red Scare and all these things, even from way back in the day, the communists have always been trying to groom Black audiences and get them on their side. And as far as, you know, my view of that, I'm anti-communism, you know what I'm saying? Because we see what people have done with it, and, you know, it's a very bad place. And I think that probably in the next couple of years, you know, we can see that China and Russia are both imploding. You know, I think just like what happened with Egypt, China and Russia probably going to experience the same thing, that people are already out in the streets, you know. But yeah, so this guy's, you know, clearly a madman, and his charges right here are very, very serious. You know what I'm saying? These are very, very serious charges, right? And that murder charge could get lumped on there because they still got to investigate that.
Anybody celebrating the destruction or attacks against this housing our people, our homeless people out here. Yeah, but you know how it is.
Yes. Y'all are disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. And there will be, you know what I'm saying, place.
But anyways, and then day, I still go to sleep as me. That's pretty dope.
It's so clean right here, together.
We're all strong together.
Yes, we is. Yes, we is.
Yeah. But yeah. You sunbathing? You getting some vitamin D in? All right. That's good. That's good. Ooh. But yeah, if I get arrested, I'm gonna be in a Fayetteville prison or jail, whatever. So y'all make sure to call and get under control.
You can see his eye movement. You know, he's like, if he gets arrested, obviously he's about to get arrested.
Yeah. Oh, it is hot.
There's literally a dead body in the house when the cops got there, you know, and he's trying to say the cops did it.
It is hot in her. Hot in her. Mm-hmm. But we've been out here for like 3 hours or so. So, I mean, I think at this moment they don't get calls like this, so they are, and they're like ODing it. Can I sit down, y'all? This slant is crazy. Anyways, y'all. I'm just figuring out what I'm gonna tell my neighbors. Just gonna go around and let them know. You know, one of the police said that he would be willing to go to door with me to let them know what's going on, but we'll see.
You can see he's still out of touch with reality, you know? It's like he's about to go to jail for some heinous things.
Ugh, I am more than okay.
And once again, you can see how he's, you know, bringing in young and impressionable people without homes, homeless people.
It was
like, like youths, you know?
But now,
those guys look
the sun is out.
And notice how it's guys, too, mostly.
And so, I take that as a analogy for our situation as well. I think that's more police coming here. Everyone. Put on a filter on this camera. I'm sad about my son, and I was like, I'll get a haircut when he comes out. But definitely after this incident, we're going to be moving because this is cray. And I'm sure our HA do not want us here, girl. I want to hear, girl. But yeah, that we're doing, serving our people, living in a property where work is done. But yeah, oh, it is hot.
It's getting out of sync. We're gonna wrap this up.
Yeah. Do you want to ask see if we can get cremation? There's not. Do you want to see if we can get water or something for the Yabe? Just give y'all later. All right. Thank y'all. Spread it out. Donate to BlackHammer.org. Cash App. Hit it up. BlackHammer.org Cash App. Share this video. This is the craziness that's occurring, and only through y'all support will be okay, all right? But I already know. Remember to.
All right, yeah. So that's it. Yeah, we finished off that video. All right. Then there was this.
Just leading in the party.
This is the other guy that was getting arrested maybe weeks before, maybe that was a couple months before.
Not just here locally, but leading, in other cities around America and other cities.
All right, so yeah, we're done with this, So yeah, that's basically it. This is the Black Hammer cult, and they're supposedly have chapters around the nation. And the cult leader just finally got taken down, and there's a dead body, and we don't know what really happened. But so far, it looks like it was suicide from this guy. They say it's their minister of defense. All right, so yeah, peace, y'all. I'm out. Peace.
What y'all know about McKinneyville arachnids? With 10 trillion ants swarming all over with mandibles latching. Atlantis finest, mantis madness, the artist. Alkaline pilot Osiris, so solid go modest. And to be exact, this the ain't no more playing GA Tamaray, open all 3 of your eyelids. The highest title, numero uno, commander-in-chief on this beat. Remember your fleet to Guantanamo. I saw we playing dominoes, man. When you hop in the whip, bumping the Celia cruising, I knew they go Calderon. Then hit the liquid eyes, looking like Riddick Chronicles, Pominos. It's the Honorable Apache, break Geronimo, woke path on the prodigal, keeping your eye on the Powerball. Now you see we switching lanes. What y'all really know about the Ripper's veins? So many names, shot down in flames. Woe after woe, we see through they games. Password, hood, rave, pound, settle, dose. Shout out to be for high weight, folk holding down O's. Oh, midday, took my X chromosome. Hexadecimal, syllabary, electrical, goon, metal, chrome. Poem, manifesting in song. And took one for my folks that's gone. I'm so good, I'm on. The book is on. Good looking throne. Keep booking down. This here Brooklyn Calm. Keep on cooking, y'all. Or make sure to check your phone and update the song. And took one for my folks that's gone. And this goes back to TNC surf. But at the same time, Billy Tezak's adventure had crossed my turf. DNA time travel, ley line of earth. Master of rain, kick flip on vert. Triptych televised, picnic reverse. Misfits telling lies, lifted the curse. Hit, hooray, Don Quixote Bay. Trick switch, terrorize, this is the verse. And don't sleep on this lightness. Fight, script mic, check the hype. This nitrous fight, this nicest repeat ISIS. Neck bit, vulture on my shoulder, we pirates. Lynchian spices, Libyan prices. Pineal pineal process, at a billion cycles. 50K horsepower, my S will be bison. Even Russian psychics get hype when O's is right in. Sound clash of titans, O's techno Viking, Highlander lightning. Chopping heads for biting, outlast the tightest, low, no hype, man. What y'all really know about Atlanta likings? Senses heightened in Jetsu silence, chupacabra sightings through empathic mind tricks. I'm so excited and I just can't hide it. What y'all suckers know about the science of siphons? Scuba dive with dolphins, lights totally awesome. Crossword crossing, crossroad crosses. Off-road boss house, dukes are cautious. Sonic clear raw dog, chronologically sawed off. Quantum mechanics shotgun, Copenhagen options. Gold-plated solid state, circuit boat gossip. Popping and locking, 1990 the possum. And who the Colossus of Gotham? Heavy in Austin, worldwide Boston. And that's just for talking. Zero gravity golf and watch the bouncing Spalding.